Good morning, guys. It's been a long time since I put out a video, and I wanted to, I'll explain that, the whys and the wherefores. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I started a YouTube channel, as you know, because you're on it right now, and it's really, I think my vision for my original idea was that I was going to record all this stuff. So I'm a school bus driver in mid-Michigan, and come to find out I can't. I'm not allowed by my school district to film anything on the bus. I know I can't film the kids. I know that. But I think everything happens for a reason. So it was really good, and I ended up going off and doing some of my own stuff. So I've made a handful of videos. I've got 28 subscribers at this point, and I'm making a big change to my channel. So this is about honesty, and in the Bible, Jesus tells us the truth will set you free, and that's the truth. It really is. So let's cut to the meat of the matter here, or as us old boomers say, let's get to brass tacks. I love little sayings like that. When I started my YouTube channel, I made a promise to everybody, to myself, that I wouldn't bring politics into it, but that's going to change. So why is that going to change? Well, we've got some major things happening in our country, and I had to do some soul searching and really sit back and figure out where I was going to fall in all this. And part of it was that I went to a hands-off rally at the Michigan State Capitol a couple of weekends ago, and I'd never been to a protest rally. And one of the things that was the first thing I saw these volunteers working hard, setting up speakers and different things. And there was a lot of, on the way there, I went with some of my kids and other family members, and we were talking in the car, and we said, I wonder what the age group or what type of people are going to be the most that are going to be there. And I called it right. I said, yeah, it's going to be mostly older people like me, baby boomers. I'm 70 years old. I'm semi-retired, and we've gone through so much stuff in our lifetime. So, I just saw a thing on Facebook, a little montage about, if you look at the early 60s or late 50s, I was born in 1954, we didn't have the internet. I actually started out with black and white TVs. We had 3 or 4 channels. Now we're completely the opposite. We have the internet. We have all these cable TV channels all over the place. So our world has changed. We've gone through all kinds of economic situations, recessions, political mess. It's a mess. And right now, I believe we're at a major turning point in our country. So, and is this channel going forward going to be strictly about politics? It's not. So first, let's get this out of the way. For anybody that's subscribed to me or watching this, if you don't want any politics at all, then don't watch my channel. I'm fine with that. But is it going to be completely about politics? Well, I'm going to explain my best what it's going to be like. And I guess that's the cool part about when you start your own channel. You can do whatever you want. So if somebody doesn't like what you do, then all they have to do is click on another channel and not watch you anymore. So that's good. So I hope, excuse me, I hope that you stick around and watch some stuff. And I hope that people that don't agree with my politics and my things about that stick around and watch me. Just see, you know. And I welcome your comments. No, I'm sure there's going to be some trolls. Everybody says there's going to be trolls on the internet, people that are going to be mean. I hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, I'm probably going to just ignore those people. I'm not going to take it personal. So, I'm a baby boomer. I've been through a lot. But to give you a little outline here of where we're going to go with this, it's going to be about religion and my belief as a Christian, because that's everything that I am. That is the number one priority in my life. That directs everything. Number two, I'm trying to practice Stoicism. I'm a Stoic. I'm trying to become a good Stoic, which works very well with being a Christian. I think Jesus was a Stoic, really. I think he was teaching Stoicism. And if you don't know what Stoicism is, follow my channel and we'll learn as we go. So I'm going to bring up different sources that I watch. And yeah, it's going to be really random. So it's going to be neat because, you know, the way my channel was going, you can look at the other videos that I made. There's stuff about burning in my wood stove. And that was cool, you know. And we did some really neat ones. We bought one of these little action cameras, like this little Action 4, really cool camera, and filmed the snow plowing thing with my little Kubota tractor and put some music to it. My wife, my beautiful wife, filmed it, and she picked out some music and I picked out some music, and it was fun. We did it, and that's good. When you start a YouTube channel, you've got to learn how to talk on air, get your message across, have good content, but you also have to learn how to set the camera up, film, lighting, sound, all this stuff. So what I've come to realize, which a lot of people are talking about, Rob the Maritimer, Rob, thank you. You do lend quite a bit of good knowledge. It's about your content primarily, and I'm filming this with my Sony ZV-E10, and I'm using the stock lens, and I'll be the first to admit, you might have heard the term GAS, G-A-S, that's Gear Acquisition Syndrome. That means you buy too much shit. and I'm famous for that. My wife has to reel me back in. But, you know, the reality of it is that right now in the United States, things are going to get real tight. We've got some economic things going on. It's so in turmoil. I don't know where it's going to end up, but I do know this, that things are going to get tight. Things are going to get more expensive. Are we going to have a recession? Are we going to have inflation? I think most people are going to agree that things are going to get tight. Okay? And if you're watching this, I don't think that there's any billionaires watching this. Probably some millionaires watching it. Nowadays in the United States of America, to have $1 million is not that hard to do. It's a lot of money. I don't have $1 million, but I've had $1 million at one time, roughly, and I don't have it anymore, but that's another story for itself. But what I'm saying is that I don't think there's going to be billionaires watching my channel, but if there are, that's cool. I mean, everybody's welcome. But I believe that it's going to be awful hard to relate to what, you know, they talk about ordinary Americans, what we have to do. So I have some gifts. And one of my gifts is that I'm a good speaker. I was a real estate agent for about 16 years, full-time realtor, and I remember the first guy that taught me, my first broker that I worked for. I owe this guy. His name's John. I'm not going to say his last name on the internet, but yeah, I owe him. And I remember he told me one time, he said, "John Quayle, you talk too much." And now I realize with my stoicism that sometimes the pause and sometimes not saying anything is the best thing. So yeah, you were right, John. And he was teaching me how to be the ultimate salesperson. This guy, at the time, he's kind of a big guy, and you know, I'm going to say in a complimentary way, he's kind of a brute of a man, and I watched him take clients and they just melt in his hands because he was honest. He was a good man. He helped people. He was not some rip-off artist. And if anybody's out there watching this, you've ever been a real estate agent, that's a purely 100% sales job. Someone's got to sell houses, and real estate agents are not thought of in the best light all the time. So a lot of people say, they compare a real estate agent to a used car salesman. Well, that actually worked in my favor because the way I did it was I didn't rip people off. I was an honest salesperson. I tried to help people. And did everybody come and flock to me and say, "Oh, you're the savior of real estate"? They did not. But I made a very good living doing real estate. It is not what I wanted to do, but at the time when I took the job, I had lost my business. At my age, I was around 40. I needed a way to survive, make my house payment, and real estate, with the talents that I have, it worked for me. So my God-given talents are, I've always been told I would have made a great teacher. I'm an educator, and I think I do have that. I have real good communication skills. But my main skill that God gave me was I'm a mechanic. I work with my hands. I take things apart. I got that from my dad. I love it. I love taking things apart. I'm a technical guy. So this YouTube thing, figuring out all the lenses and the camera. No wonder I had gear acquisition syndrome. I bought a little too much stuff. But the other day I was watching somebody, I think it was Rob the Maritimer. He mentioned that he bought a bunch of gear he didn't need. We've all been there. So yeah, you get caught up in it, but it's fun. It's neat. It's gadgets. So we'll put the brakes on because we've got major tightening of economic stuff coming down the tubes. My wife and I are blessed with the fact that we've gone through these tight times, that we know how to live tight. So when we went through the recession or whatever you want to call it in 2006, imagine I was a real estate agent then. All of a sudden my whole business came to a stop and I had nothing to do with it. It was out of my control. I just looked at my wife and said, "How are we going to make our house payment?" Guess what, guys? We did it. So, but that's another story, and I got to stay on the general thing here, the theme that we're talking about. So, yeah, we're going to touch on all kinds of things. I'm super concerned with what's happening in our country. As I said earlier, we went on a protest, a hands-off protest in Lansing, Michigan, with some of my family and friends, and it was quite an awakening because when I got there, the first thing I saw was some people. There was a lot of Vietnam vets there, and we all know the story with the Vietnam vets. At my age, I just missed getting drafted. And when those Vietnam vets come home, we all know the story. They were not honored for the sacrifices that they made. And I was talking to one of them at the rally, and I said to him, I wished I had protested the Vietnam War back then. I wasn't for it, but I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wish I was more active. And I'm glad that I went to the protest at the Capitol. I'm planning on going back to another one on the 19th of this month with more of my family members, and I'm going to try, my goal is to try to get some other people to go with me. So that's going to be my urging on this channel, is to try to motivate you to get out and take charge of this and get involved. And I know there's this feeling of helplessness. I'm scared that, maybe I won't get my Social Security check. The interesting thing is, when I had my kids here, my wife is on a little short vacation. She's helping one of her girlfriends drive up from Florida, bring her car up. My wife needs this break. This is good. And I am still working. I drive a school bus for a small school district in mid-Michigan. So I stayed home. I had a week off for Easter break, and then this last week I worked and will continue till the end of the year. As you might know from this channel, I love my job as a bus driver. So right now I am a full route bus driver. I drive kids from preschool all the way up to seniors. My kids are the best. Yes, I'm totally hooked on this. I love it. I love children. I have 75 grandchildren. I really do. It's if you've never done it before, I know there's a big school bus driver shortage in the United States. If you're thinking and you like children and you like kids and you like that kind of thing, consider it. It's not the easiest thing. You don't just grab a chauffeur's license and go drive a bus. You got to do a bunch of training. You have to do, be vetted by the state police because you're with children. You have to pass a drug test. You can't have anything in you. Nope, you can't smoke marijuana and drive a school bus. It's not going to happen. That's a good thing. You can live without that. And you have to have a good driving record. You're driving a 40-foot bus, you got to be able to drive, but you can figure it out, At our school district, we have about 8 women that drive, all different age groups, and 4 men. The oldest person there is a lady. It's about 75, and then there's me, and it runs all the way down. We have a person that's 20 or 21 years old. So it's all different age groups. Used to be a mom job. Now it's more of a retiree's job. I do about 30 hours a week. And I will not bring any politics on my bus. In other words, I'm not going to wear some kind of a shirt or anything, a hat, any kind of thing. I won't have anything on my phone. That's a sacred area. I'm teaching the kids some good things to make them good citizens throughout life, but I'm not teaching them politics by any means. But on my channel, it's going to change. So again, I hope you stick with me. You can see what this is about. There's so many things now that I've been thinking about and praying about over the last couple of weeks, really, because I got to the point where I got that little YouTube channel burnout where I made all these videos, not made a bunch, but I don't even know how many I have, 10 of them or something, and I have 1,000 views and 28 subscribers. Wow, I'm Mr. Beast, right? So, but I know how YouTube works. I got to get back into it. Why do I want followers? Well, I'm not doing this for the money. Would it help? Sure, it'd be great if I get monetized someday, and maybe I'll have some products that I can sell, because I have a lot of interests. But that's really not the reason that I'm doing this. So right now I'm doing this because I love my country, And I think that we are just so, we're in trouble, guys. So I'm gonna talk about a few things because there's so much. There's so much. I'm gonna have to write an outline to cover it. So when I was talking to my kids, I actually had my, I'm not going to show it on the screen here, but I have my Social Security statement, and it shows from 1971, the very first year I had my first job. I don't believe I had my driver's license then. My mom used to drive me, drop me off. I worked at a landscape supply. I pulled weeds. I carried things out to people's cars. And I can't even remember, but it was a great job. I made a lot of money. I mean, I made like $1.75 an hour. And back then that was a great wage for a 15-year-old kid. So how times have changed. And this even only goes up to showing wages that were put in up to 2015. I'm still working, but there's 48 years of working. This is, you know, when this Elon Musk guy says, oh, it's a big Ponzi scheme. Guess what, guys? Don't touch my Social Security. This record shows the amount of money that was taken out. So whether or not going forward we continue to have a Social Security system, but right now there's a bunch of people like me that didn't do anything wrong. I kept my head down. I worked. I was the best that I could be as a good citizen, put in my 48 years, and I'm blessed because I like to work. I still work. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and drive the bus, and I have right now the best job in the world. I get to be with these wonderful kids. But if I couldn't do that, you know, I'm fine. I like to work. It brings extra money in so my wife can make it. And now with the economic crisis that we're heading for, who knows what it's going to be. Prices are going to skyrocket. We have all these tariffs and we have a possibility of recession coming. So what I'm going to try to show on this channel is I'm going to share my blessings with you. Don't you love it when your phone rings when you're in the middle of a YouTube video? I love it. Somebody asked me, what is that? That's a phone. That's a cell phone. Anyways, it's my brother-in-law calling me. So, anyways, I'm going to try to share with you some practical things, some stoicism. Yeah, stoicism. I'm actually teaching the kids stoicism on the bus so that they can have this knowledge to take throughout their adult life. But I'm going to try to share some of it and mention some of the channels that I go on. Stoicism and Christianity, they're connected. And also, yep, I'm going to get a little preachy here and talk about Christianity because it's the main thing in my life, and I think those values of being a Christian, yeah, we got to talk about it. A real Christian. So, yeah. And then I want to share, I'm going to share some stories with you that really, you know, everything is tied in together. So, gosh, I don't even, there's so many, don't even know where to begin. I think I'm gonna start with one. I'm gonna end the video, call my brother-in-law back, and get on with today. Maybe I'll make another video later on today. But here's something I do want to mention, and I'm gonna write a note to. But I watch a channel called Outdoors with the Morgans, and it's a great channel. I'll encourage you to like it. This guy does firewood processing. I think he lives in Pennsylvania or something. Nice man, him and his wife, he's got his family. And the reason I'm bringing this up is he did a posting the other day, and I think the title of it was something like, "Don't ever call the police." So, I'm a bus driver, and I deal with autistic children. I have probably 6 autistic kids. And before I did this bus driving job, I didn't even know what autism was. And I just started driving the bus, and I've got approximately 75 kids that I drive back and forth from their house to school and back again. And of those 75 kids, there's probably 6 of them that have autism. And autism, you know, I'm a research guy. I go on the internet and I learn about stuff. And I was getting frustrated. And I had a young boy that was having some issues on the bus. And I wrote him up. And it was not interesting, but you know, one of the things about being a Christian is that you need to have humility. You need to have humility. And I was watching a video the other day about when Jesus did the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. That's part of it. That's one of the things. So here's a moment for me that worked out. I went online and I actually did my own research, about autism and all the different aspects of autism and how it manifests itself differently in every single kid. And I had written this kid up and wrote on the write-ups. As a bus driver, we have these paper write-ups you do, that this boy had major anger issues. I was very frustrated, you know. And he had a little meltdown. He's had a few on the bus. Then, after I did my research on autism, I realized that it wasn't that he had anger issues. He had autism. He's having a meltdown. And my friend Mr. Morgan from Outdoors with the Morgans did a posting the other week, a few days ago, about his son. So he has a son, and I'm just going to relay this because he's related, so I'm assuming it's open information. And if you watch this, I think you will probably, Mr. Morgan, you're a good guy, man. He had explained in previous videos about his son. I believe his name is Hunter. I think he calls him the Huntsman. And what his situation is and how him and his wife have dealt with it, and how they've even got, they've got things set up so that when they pass, their son will be taken care of and all this kind of stuff. And that's the way it should be. They love their son. I have 3 kids. I love my kids. And when I see Mr. Morgan, he's a good man. He really is. He loves his children. He loves his wife. He's a good man. This is an example of a good man. This guy's a hard-working American. And he was explaining how there was a situation, I haven't even looked it up on video, some autistic child out in Iowa or somewhere that had a meltdown. Most people wouldn't even know what that is. You haven't dealt with autistic children or adults. And he had a kitchen knife in his hand, evidently. He was in his backyard. He wasn't trying to stab anybody or anything. He was just having a meltdown. Again, just probably waving this knife around. He happened to have it in his hand. He was in the backyard with his family, and the neighbor called the police. The neighbor didn't know. He was just trying to help. Didn't know. And 4 policemen showed up, and from what Mr. Morgan said, they shot him. They shot this kid. Because that's what they're trained. They see a person, he wasn't a little kid, he was a teenager, evidently. And so he's, full-size, grown-up teenager. And they're trained. You see a person waving a weapon around, and for whatever reason, and I could feel Mr. Morgan's frustration, that he's told his own family, don't ever call the police. I'm very familiar with policemen because when I was a realtor, I dealt with policemen all the time. I had quite a few of them that were clients. And what I learned was, which another policeman taught me, that typically policemen are one of two ways. They're either very cynical and untrusting because they deal with, let's face it, the scum of the earth on a daily basis, liars and drug addicts, and it's tough. And as we all know, the policemen in the United States of America, yeah, they're all like NBA stars, right? They're millionaires. No, we don't pay them what they deserve. Policemen, firefighters, nurses, educators, in this country, we do not pay the most important people. And the police have to do this. The other type of policeman is the one that comes home and he realizes, he knows, the world is still a good place. People are typically good people. They just get in bad situations. I have a neighbor that's a policeman, and he works in a big city, and he's a great guy. And I just know from talking to him, he's a good man. He would help me out in a second. I would love to have the opportunity to help him too. So the situation that these policemen are in turns them one way or the other. And in this case, the story that Mr. Morgan was talking about, he was just frustrated. And he said, is it more training? My opinion, Mr. Morgan, is yes, it's more training. And I'm going to say something here, probably going to be controversial, but take it for what it is. It doesn't change the way I feel about you, but I am directing this at everybody that's watching my video. You've indicated, you, Mr. Morgan, you are everything that I strive to be. You're a hard-working man. You didn't get any handouts. All that wood processing equipment you have, you bought it all with your hard-earned money. You figured it all out. You took the risks, and you're a success because of that. You took care of your family. You did that. But you've also indicated on your channel that you're in support of Donald Trump. I think you said you voted for him, and this right-wing agenda. And my opinion, my humble opinion is, I think you're wrong. I think in your last video talking about your son with the autism and what those police did, I'm going to tell you right now, with this Doge and Elon Musk going in and cutting all of our services, there's not going to be any training for police officers to even think about understanding what autism is, how to deal with autistic people or other people in our society that have mental issues. And yeah, we've dumped all kinds of people out on the streets, and the police are the ones that are actually feeling it the most. They're the ones that are dealing with it. And that's your frustration. You're like, well, and I'm going to say right now that this situation, I brought up Elon Musk and the Doge, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I voted both ways. I voted for Ronald Reagan. I voted for, I forget the guy's name, he was an independent back in the day. I'm a proponent, meaning I'm for fiscal responsibility. The printing of money, the national debt, everybody in America has heard of the $500 hammers. When you have a bureaucracy that's as big as the United States is, you're going to get people that are going to waste and grift off the bureaucracy. And the way that things are happening now, this person, this Elon Musk, just holding up his chainsaw, and he's going to go in and he's just going to slash and cut. That's not the right way to do it. That's not the right way to do it. And my personal belief, Donald Trump is the biggest grifter in the world. He's a con man, and he knows how to reach out to someone like you and a lot of people in this country that are good people. So when I say that we're going to get political on this channel, yes, we're going to get political, but are we going to personally attack any other Americans? Never. That's what they want us to do. That's what Donald Trump wants us to do. He wants to divide us. He wants to make me look like I'm the enemy to other people. No, we're all American. He's the problem. And this attitude, we have to support each other. We have to be at a point where we can have a difference of opinion and respect each other, but still have a difference of opinion. Now, I'm going to talk to people and say, do you think, to me, a man, a person, when you say a man, we're talking about men and women here, everybody, that has calluses on their hands, that gets up. These other drivers that I work with, we all get up at 4:30 in the morning. My sister-in-law is a nurse. She's working the afternoon shift. Do you think Donald Trump can relate to that? Do you think Elon Musk can relate to that? And they're diligently working to save us? No, they're not. They're grifting off of us. And it's wrong. And we all know it, but we want something. Did the Democratic Party, are they there? No, they're messed up too. Someone's going to come out of the dust here. And, why do I know that? Because I'm praying on it and God doesn't let us down. There's going to be someone. But in the meantime, we have to recognize that what's happening right now is wrong. It's mean. It's evil. It's wrong. And no, I am against. Do I hate Donald Trump? No, I don't even know him. I've never met him. I don't want to. No way. I actually pray for Donald Trump a lot more than a lot of other people because he needs it the most. He has a talent of persuasion. Yeah, it's a lot like Hitler. He can come along, and it's funny. I was talking to a friend that I've known since the 10th grade. I consider him my best friend, and I was telling him some stuff. And one of the things where Donald Trump says, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for me, or they don't care. And he wasn't even aware of that. He's, I don't know if that's really what, you sure that's what he said? Yeah, that's what he said. He doesn't hold back. We're at a point right now where he was on the internet the other day just bragging about how his billionaire friends made all this money off the stock market. You guys, you're okay with that? I mean, we're getting fleeced here. This man doesn't know what it's like to work a day. He's a grifter. He's a con man. And do we need something? Yes. Do we need him? No, we don't. He's taken us to the cleaners, guys. And we're just standing back. The problem is we don't have anything else to hold on to. And he knows that. The void's been created. Hopefully there's going to be someone that's going to rise up out of the ashes. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. He's great. He's 83 years old. He doesn't want to run. I didn't even realize how old he was. I looked it up. Not that is bad. We've demonized it. Gosh, we made fun of Joe Biden because he was so old. Well, Donald Trump is like 78 years old, so it really doesn't matter. I'm 70 and I get dissed for being old. That's another problem with our country. Over in China, they honor people that are old because they're wise. So, yeah, I don't accept that at all. I've been through hell and back. And so, yeah, we're going to touch on these things. Is this going to turn into a I hate Donald Trump and I hate Elon Musk channel? No. Are we going to talk about some things that I don't accept that they're doing? You betcha. And the reason I say this is we can do better, guys. We can do better. There's someone that's going to come out of there and be able to take care of the things that we want to take care of. So just one of the issues, and there's so many issues, health care and government efficiency and just a million things. But let's just talk about national debt, government efficiency, the $500 hammer. We all want that to end. There's a way to do that. And the way they're doing it right now is just haphazard. It's not meant to actually be effective, in my opinion. It's just meant to be some showboating thing. And yes, I think they really don't have their heart into trying to do it effectively so that it does not affect services. And my point was, when I started talking about Mr. Morgan and his son, it's going to affect all of us. And hopefully you've set up, it sounds like you talked about one time that you set up things so that when you pass, Hunter will be taken care of. That's good. Not everybody has the ability to do that. I don't have an autistic son, and I don't have a lot of money, but I'll do the best I can to try to help my kids when I pass. But not everybody has that chance to do that. And the billionaires that are just going through, and while they're doing all this, cutting these services, yes, there is waste out there, but there's a better way to do it. A better way that works, both helps the people and tightens up our budget. That's the goal that we should be working towards. At the same time, the billionaires, come on guys, you need to actually examine what $1 billion is. Think about having $1 million. Now think about $999 million, and then add one more $1 million. That's $1 billion. That's mind-boggling. You couldn't spend the money if you tried. You'd have to have a full-time job, and these are people that have hundreds of billions of dollars. They have so much power through this money that they are now controlling our government. And our president is part of this. He worships money. He adores it. It's the power that he gets. It's wrong. So I'm going to call it out. If someone like Mr. Morgan or other people think it's wrong, tell me why. I'd love to hear from people in the comments. But just to, if somebody wants to troll me and just, say nasty things to me, it's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to probably erase it. My stoicism says I don't need toxic people like that. But am I open to a lively discussion? Absolutely. But yeah, this is going to be the start of the new channel. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very charged up, excited. I believe that my God-given talents, again, my gift of gab, communication, my job as a school bus driver gives me an insight into people, because I get to see children that are not tainted by this garbage that us adults have to live through. And I have to, everybody has to accept that, when you're a bus driver, I'm not just transporting people from point A to point B. It's more than that. I have interpersonal relations with these children, and I have to decide what's appropriate. I'm not going to talk politics or anything. It was interesting. I'm long-winded, I know that, so we'll try to wrap this up pretty soon here. But I remember when I first started driving, we have two-way radios in our buses, and I got on the radio one morning, and we're taught that you're not supposed to gab on the radio, which we don't. But sometimes you'll get on the radio and say things like, hey, I'm out at this certain road. We're in a rural area, and we have all these buses. We have 12 buses. They're all driving all over the place. And sometimes I'll pass some of the other buses where their routes are close to my route. And you'll hear drivers say, be aware this particular road is very icy, or it's very foggy up here, and such, and just warnings. And I went through a time where I was just saying in the morning, good morning, beautiful people, just because it's something cool to do. I'm an old baby boomer, so that's what I do. So when someone calls me on the radio in the morning and they say, bus so-and-so to the bus, you got to do this, I usually say good morning, because that's how I've been taught. Let's start the morning off with good morning. But anyways, I got back to the bus garage and I went into my office of where my boss is, and I just know from my boss, I consider her a friend. But we keep things on a professional level. But I know, if you work with somebody for so many years, I know that she is a Christian, and that's, like I said, that's everything for me. And I just off the cuff, I just said, wouldn't it be cool if in the morning we could say a prayer over the radio? And she just went, oh my God, no! Oh, separation of church and state, we can't do that. Oh my gosh, the school district, if they ever heard that, it would be horrible. And I said, I know. I ran a company. I was just saying, wouldn't that be interesting? But yeah, we have to keep that separate. And about a week later, I had the little kids, the first graders and the preschoolers, in my bus. It's like you're Moses, man. You're in this bus. You got all these little kids around you. And they asked me, they said, Mr. John, is God dead? So what are you going to do? Are you going to say, oh, I can't answer that question, there's separation of church and state? Heck no, John Quayle's not going to do that. Nope, that's not what's going to happen. Nope, I made sure that I told him God was alive every day, and that you children, you beautiful children, you gifts from God, that's what children are the shining example and the witness of why God is alive. And yes, he's alive, he's everywhere. It's a good thing. Yep, I broke the rules, didn't I? Yep, but you can't help it. It's just something you can't separate. And yeah, that's what I do. So you got to accept the fact that I'm going to be on the bus, and I have to make sure that I'm trying to create good citizens. Am I out there trying to convert everybody to Christianity? And I am not. But if someone asks me, that's why I have a tattoo on my arm. I want to make sure that everybody knows where I stand. And sometimes the kids, they look at my tattoo, and I had a kid tell me last year I went to a concert. It was a concert for the first graders. And the next morning I heard some of the kids on the bus say, I didn't know Mr. John had a tattoo. Yeah, I don't have a Hell's Angels tattoo. I have the Cross of Christ, so yep, it's gonna happen. Gonna get my preaching in there. So anyways, we'll end this video, but there's so much material to cover. You're gonna see quite a few of them coming up real quick. Might even be another one later today. I'm going to wish everybody a great day. And the other thing I want to say is, I was watching my Stoicism guy that I watch, the Daily Stoic, and he was talking about how you have to be there for yourself. So the example that he gave, we've all heard this example. When you go on an airline and you fly, and they teach you real quickly, if we lose cabin pressure, these oxygen masks are going to drop down. And the first and most obvious question is, what should you do? And if you're an adult and you're flying with one or two of your kids, you put the mask on first. Then you'll be available to help the kids. Well, you gotta do that as a person. So you have to be able to take care of yourself, and that's what I have to do. So I have to feed my soul too. So, yep, there'll be little things that'll crop up, but I'm going to blend them into our program here. I'm a guy that's, thank God, I mean, I'm multifaceted. And when you're 70 years old, you're supposed to stimulate your brain, right? Now, I get into all kinds of stuff. I've been a ham radio operator for, all my life. And I still am. I don't do it all the time now. I like metal detecting. It's just something fun. And, people say, I'm not doing it for the money. It's strictly for the fun. I love history. I find coins, old coins in my town. It's really cool, and maybe someday I can show the kids metal detecting. You can learn about the technical parts of how a metal detector works. You can learn about history. It's something fun to do. You get outside, get a little sunshine, do the metal detecting. Now, I want to keep my brain stimulated. And, yep, driving the bus, learning all the routes and what kid gets off and what kid has band. And they leave their jackets on my bus, and I got to figure out whose it is and all these things. But I want to keep my brain sharp. And I just started learning how to play electric bass guitar. So that's something I always wanted to do. So I'm doing it. And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, it's not easy. 70-year-old guy I'm left-handed, so I had to buy a left-hand short scale 4-string. Tried to keep everything as simple as possible. Instead of a 5-string, a 4-string, because I'm trying to learn how to read music. And I wanted the short scale, so that means the neck of the guitar is a little bit shorter. And I bought this guitar for like $100 off Facebook Marketplace. I got a little amp. Thank God for YouTube. There's a million people on there that go extremely slow, and I can slow down the speed of the video because, I'm into old-time music, so right now I'm into Booker T and the MGs, and I'm trying to learn how to do the bass line for Green Onions. It's a good song. But anyways, to stimulate my brain. So we're still going to do some of that. Yeah, we're going to fold some of that cool stuff in. Metal detecting. My wife said when I started the guitar, she goes, "Are you going to play on YouTube?" Heck no, I can't hardly play 3 notes. So if that ever happens, that'll be a miracle from God. But nope, I'm just doing that for my own fun, to feed my soul and keep my brain going. I'm not a guy that does crossword puzzles or anything like that. I don't really get into computer games, so that's what I do. I'm going to learn that, hopefully, if I don't lose interest in it, because I can't do it. But now I'm going to try to stick to it and learn how to play the guitar. So I love music. And yep, it's going to be cool. So, but there's so much stuff that we're going to be able to fold in to this political thing. And yes, I'm going to try to motivate you to get involved. And yes, I'm going to another protest over Easter weekend at the state capitol in Lansing, and I'm going to try to get some of my other friends to go with me. My goal is, each time try to get more people. There's people in my neighborhood that are of the same opinion as I am on their situation. I'm going to try to hook up with them and do it. But I'm also going to try to live my life. I have a regular life. I got to go to work. I got to cut my grass. My wife and I have to tighten everything up because all the prices of everything are going to go up, and we're on a fixed income. That's okay. I have the ability to do that. So now I think what I'm going to try to do is also use my channel to help people navigate through these tough times that we're going through. So that's really cool. Because I have that talent. And if I can help other people, it's going to help me to, yeah, do I have something to prove here? I do. This is for all the people that say, well, I want to follow Donald Trump down his thing. I don't think he's got your best interests in mind. I know he doesn't. He's a worshiper of money. I'm going to try to help you. And yeah, you're probably going to have to take a look and say, is this ordinary guy on YouTube, is he out to fleece us? Is he some kind of a con man? Or is this other situation the one that's really conning us? How do we know that Donald Trump isn't? Because Donald Trump tells us, oh, I'm not conning you. I'm the great one. I'm sent by God. I don't think so, guys. No, that's not. You know. And I'll leave you with one thing. Pop open your Bible. Start reading it. The truth is the truth is the truth. So, have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.